Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so just don't get hit. Okay, and it applies to self. And that's it? No, okay, there are local nodes. So, okay, so we have that same taunt thing, similar to Yondu's. Oh, this crap. Okay, so no special threes. Don't get hit by the special one. That's pretty simple. Guardian's probably quite good then. And then nothing special on these? Okay, well then I'm gonna have fun. Guardian, Tigra. I don't really need a whole lot for this at the end. I do need something for Miles. That shouldn't really be a problem, because I don't need to use specials. Kirk is fun. Let's bring Jabari. She's actually great for Miles. And then, yeah, that's a fun team. Okay, let's do this. I remember people saying this was pretty easy, and it definitely looks it. So let's see, Howard's bleed immune. Guy's still bugged, isn't he? But Tiger should be good. As long as we back up enough. That's fine. Let's just restart that. This costs 2 energy. Nobody's here. So anybody watching this on the playback, you can laugh. Yeah, I thought it didn't normally like that. Okay. Hey, Silver. Yeah, it really does. He's borderline broken there. Alright. Hood. Try Hawkeye. Should go Mr. Sinister? I don't know. I mean, because I have a rank, or I have a duped Mr. Sinister, and I've just never been tempted to use him personally.
Um, because he's kind of a ramp up champion, but he's not really worth ramping up. Like I've messed around with him a bit. The debuff pause on heavy thing is kind of fun. And so then he can get some okay crits, but it's just there's so much upkeep for so little return that I can't stand playing him. And so like if you really are gonna double down, if there are a couple things he can do that Kingpin can't, like I guess if you need to block unblockable specials, or if what's the other thing? You need immunity to reverse controls, but I don't know. I'm not. I personally wouldn't rank up Sinister. I think he's fine as a rank 1 or whatever, just to bring along. Not sure why the slowdown hasn't always been working for me. Hey Zach, yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Oh, yeah, that was early. I felt that one. Hood is getting really bad about stutter stepping. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. That's okay. Yeah, see, there it worked. And I started it just as early as the other one. I don't know. I'm still getting used to him. I don't regret ranking him, but I really hope they give him his critical bleeds and poisons back soon. That was a nice thing that they did get right. I think he's still in his evade phase, so I'm gonna go Jabari.
There's an argument to be made for Hawkeye with his slow, but
I don't know if you guys saw the Kabam post asking who your favorite 21 or 2021 champion was. I was tempted to go with Jabari until I remembered Odin is also this year. She's definitely up there for me.
doesn't get easier than that.
Is there a perfect rotation for Diablo? Not really, because it kind of depends on, how large the opponent's health pool is and what pre-fights you aren't using. But in general, you're probably going to throw a few special ones to get a couple extra vials for maximum poison. Maybe also to get your nullify or stun immunity going or something. Then you're going to try and work your way up to a special 3, throw it, and then hopefully you're running Mystic Dispersion and you use the Essence of Null pre-fight, and so then you're going to nullify all of those buffs off the opponent and use that to throw special 1s and special 2s to keep those poisons going. As far as I know, that's kind of the main thing for him.
Okay, so it doesn't actually stop it. We probably should have stuck to intercepts all the way to the hunt. That's okay. Now we stop it. I forgot how that worked. And then heavy. Ah, okay. That's how the Energize works against you. I should have thrown the special one earlier. Um, Come on, dude. Now he throws it because I've lost my block proficiency.
What is this AI? Okay, Bach to rank 4. Maybe I should look into Jabari. I mean, she has a miscounter where neither of them do. That's one thing. The other thing is that she has cleanse, whereas Killmonger doesn't really. I don't like counting the void synergy for that purpose. OGBP does have a purify, but the debuffs hit you first. It's not instantaneous. And so it doesn't work on things like stun, and you have to intercept for it. So she beats both of them on that. I'd say her damage is higher than Killmonger's, but she's kind of the glass cannon version of him. She's not as tanky to compensate for that. Okay, let's run that again. But in general, I think focus on high bleed damage and cleanse, and then the synergy partner she has.
She didn't even try. That was weird.
Heavy didn't take.
Interesting. She actually does not have a lot of frames that count as her heavy.
It's a narrower window. He's great. Still doing a ton of work for me. It's fun. Yeah, I think they always said that they anded to go a little bit later, or not later, but like closer to the normal time with rewards. The fact that they're now walking that back is a little annoying, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, Fly. I'm doing pretty good. I can't speak today, but I'm doing good. Whoops, wrong special. Alright, now let's go to special 3.
Excellent. So good. That Fury is really solid. Oh, we're definitely getting comp. Not for the season ending early, but keep in mind that getting full rewards for only 9 wars instead of 12 is itself a form of compensation. And I'm quite confident that we're getting item compensation for that war 10 where we all had to deal with extra high ground. I don't think I've seen official communication on that, but I would be absolutely shocked if that doesn't happen. Whoop, shouldn't have done that. There we go, that's what I wanted. I just wasn't watching his power. Yeah, I've seen Goblin on that node before. It's definitely good. I mean, I don't think it's much of an answer for Archangel, and I've seen Corvus charge there. So it's definitely not like, a guaranteed kill or anything. I'm pretty sure I've seen Nick get through it as well. But it's a good placement. It's kind of annoying that power struggle, the power drain is coded outside the normal language for power drain. So somebody like Venom or Venom Pool is still drained. But the power gain isn't coded outside of the normal rules for that. So Goblin messes with it. Kind of odd. Just gonna try Herc this time. Whoop. This taunt is really messing with me. That should do it. Hey, Cesar. Doing pretty good. Hold on. Yeah, Black Widow's damage is absolutely crazy. Completely agreed on that. Yeah, I'm not surprised Herc was disgusting for this. I intentionally, the first time, used Guardian to see how that worked, and I haven't been using him for the paths, but he's Herc. Okay. This Darkhawk. Okay, that doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, doesn't matter at all. Okay, and then these are all... Okay, they have that. And they do not. Alright, well, I'm not running any villains anyway. I'm doing good, Josh. Kind of a slow day. I mean, I took yesterday off from practicing after a fairly heavy concert on Sunday, so I'm building back up into my routine today. My girlfriend this is her finals week, so it's just kind of quiet around here because she's focusing on that. Gotta do some dishes today, though. Hey, TJ, how's it going, man? Oh, you know what? I should probably be blocking that. Nah, it's kind of a tricky parry. Oh well. That might have hurt if it had lasted a half second longer for him to reflect any of it. Gotta love Guardian. Hey, Mina, how's it going? Hope all is well. Hopefully a good kind of busy, TJ. Wasn't quite fast enough on that next one to get the credit for the intercept. Okay, my favorite thing to do is to go into Hunt right on the L2. The special 3 lets you do more damage against a bleed immune, or against a bleeder, but that L2 is so satisfying. Guardian can auto-block specials if you are not already blocking, but it only gets up to a 75% chance, so that's intended to be more of a oops, I could have died and I didn't thing. If you want the power gain and the perfect block reliably, then you do have to parry the specials yourself, yeah. I think that Tigra is worth ranking unawakened, but she also gets a lot better with her duped ability. Never gonna hide that.
Lens coming in clutch there. That Incinerate can be kind of nasty. And then let's see if we can get this heavy. Nah, probably not. I'll just finish him this way. But yeah, I think
Tigretta rank 2, unduped especially, makes a ton of sense, and you can kind of play with her and decide, is she adding anything to my roster? And if so, then you can take her up. I know Campo took her up unduped and had her that way for a couple months, I think.
we want the slow from Hawkeye.
Good kind of busy. That's good.
I get what you mean. See, like, this fight would be so much better if each of those bleeds was doing, like, I don't know, 700 damage. It does kind of look, maybe it's just class advantage, but it kind of looks like the poisons are also reducing the resistance. It's hard to tell. Whoops. So now let's see if the mediums do less. No, maybe not. Yeah, that was late.
I'm still working on him. That arrow flash is the best thing to do, but it doesn't feel intuitive to me yet. Oh, okay, I get what you mean, Stover. So you have to parry each time within a certain window. So like for Green Goblin, I'm actually not sure it's possible to get the perfect block for all of them. But like with Apocalypse's special one, if you parry the very first hit or the very first beam, then the perfect block has like a half-second window, so it also covers the second beam, and then I dex out of the third because I don't think it's possible to like then drop block and quickly reapply it so that you get credit for parrying the third beam. But for Green Goblin, it is possible to, I think, parry the first hit where he hits the ground, and then maybe re-parry in time for his pew pew pews. If you can't do that, then I think it would be better to dex the ground hit and then parry the lasers. And then you should have time to drop block and parry the final bomb at the end. So you can get 3 or 4 power gain triggers off that one special if you do it right. Hey, Mad Hats.
Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep practicing Hawkeye.
I mean, because what you do is you hit the special button, and then you wait a little bit, and then you tap the screen again and hold until the arrow flashes, and that's how you get the perfect release. Like here. Now I'm tapping, now I'm letting go. But it is not that, in my experience, it's been hard for me to be consistent, especially if I'm switching it all between the special 1 and the special 2. Like this. Yeah, see, that was late. And it's because he, like, does a flip, and then he's kind of hidden behind the hit counter where it says 45. I think that's part of what throws me. The special 2 feels like it's a little bit less center stage than the special 1. And it's like, yeah, it's right after the arrow comes out of nowhere, whereas the special 1, the arrow is obvious for the whole thing. Hey, throw your special. Fine. See, like I find the special easy much, or the special one much easier. But if I nail the special 2 several times in a row, I found that I sometimes mess up the special 1.
So at the moment, they're still kind of contaminating each other for me, but I'm getting better, I think. Right, Meta?
I mean, this one is actually, dare I say it, fun. There's not a whole lot to pay attention to, and I can use champions like Jabari and Tigra as their kits intend.
Actually, practice with these champions I've ranked up feels pretty good.
I feel like this is a Tigra fight. I'm just gonna have to be countering the specials. Which means not backing up like I just did. Alright, let's try that again. There we go. Because normally, obviously, I'd counter the special 1. Or I'd counter the heavy. But that does not work here. It's interesting how preventing the armor up means that we get the power lock every time, but I'm not really worried about that because giving him more power just means more special ones to retaliate against.
Easy game. Hey, Madrox. Yeah, that the arrow flash tip I got from Buddy Lee's video. I forget who he said showed it to him, but that tip's been making its way around the community, and I find it really helpful as well.
I'm actually really happy about this gold here. Been running kind of low. And seriously, if you want a place to practice Tigra, there are a lot of good Tigra fights in this side quest this month. What you're seeing here is also why, just on the subject of Tigra, why I tend to recommend that people learn her at rank 2 and or unduped.
Because once you actually get her leveled up, it's so hard to actually learn from any of her fights that go well.
Because you just do too much damage. Well, that's just rude. Throw your specials, or at least your heavy. There we go.
Yeah, Josh, I would highly recommend practicing in this, because I consider myself good with Tigra. I don't consider myself a master with her, and so many of these are just lining up really well.
This is just turning into a Tiger stream.
You also start to get a feel for how her rupture damage scales, because I completely looked away from the screen for this last special too. I was just like, yeah, that's gonna do it. Guardian and Professor X taking me longest to learn. Yeah, Guardian is kind of an interesting one because he has that like that base level. Oh, this guy is obviously good when you like should be dying to energy damage, but you're not. Or a special that wrecks everyone else on your roster, just tickles him. Like those are the times when it's obvious how good he is without any real investment other than ranking him and sigging him. But I think it definitely takes a little while to master the second aspect of him, which is the parrying specials properly and, balancing your force field charges, finding your openings for your heavy counters if you're playing stun immune matchups with him so that you can safely get that second armor up so you don't lose your primary one. Those are the things that I think take you to the next level with Guardian. And I think that actually one of his best analogs in that is Blade. Because back in the day it was immediately obvious how good Blade was because he had some of the best healing in the game, he had all of that ability accuracy stuff, he had very high damage. But to truly take your Blade game to the next level, you parried specials to inflict those extra bleeds. You had to manage your spacing to try and get the most out of the power gain from the opponent bleeding. You wanted to get all of your spacings right so that you could heavy for certain nodes like flux dispersal and then cancel out of that heavy into a special. Like that's kind of the next level with Blade that I feel like I truly reached when I was running Labyrinth with him. And I think that's the goal with Guardian as well, is getting there. Come on, buddy. Thank you. Whoops, I don't know why I did that. I was like thrown off by the backdraft that I almost failed at. And so then I went for another one that I knew wasn't safe for some reason. Anyway, now we just want to land the heavy. Come on. Thank you. Oh, never mind. He's already dead anyway. I find that I have that experience a lot with Jabari, where I'm like trying to play her properly and I go for like a big
Thing that I've been setting up and the opponent is already dead. It's kind of funny.
sorry about the car horns.
Here we go.
Could you not hear the Madrix, or is that a joke about not hearing many cars?
Yeah, let's do Tiger again.
That was fun.
Oh, right, explosive personality. Okay, well, that's going to be fun to nullify. Another tip for Tigra right there. Sometimes it's good to slightly delay the heavy to see if you can bait them into charging.
Because then you get the extra ruptures. Hey Slay, how's it going?
Definitely do not mind the free gold here. You know, free to a point. Okay, so nothing there for now. Oh, I actually have to use Herc. Alright, fine. What is there on these? Just as much in terms of the calves. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. This the new job you're talking about, Slay? Happy for you, man.
Not immediately after this, Cesar. I already have one loaded up from the sigil, but I'm waiting for war rewards. I think I should be able to do 3 at once. I don't think I'll be able to get to 4. But thanks, man. Definitely, Herc Dupe is definitely on the list.
Can't throw the special because I need to finish with the light.
Nope, that was a medium. Should have just finished the combo. Herc too good. Herc so good, Herc bad? I hope that counted. It did not. Stupid rage damage. Or strength, sorry. Wrong champion. I have seen a rank 4 torch, and one member of my BG is flirting with it. Definitely think that'd be quite good. Biggest issue is, of course, bans. But if bans are structured in any such way that torch isn't an automatic every time, then yeah, like, if you get the chance to use him, then it's a fantastic rank up. Hey, Bleezy, how's it going, man? Yes. There is a rank 4 Omega Red Mad Hats in DSVG, I believe. Can't risk a medium, it'll kill him. There we go. Nope. Still rage. Or strength. Hmm. I don't know which one I need. Mutant's usually pretty safe. I'll go science just because I'm low. Bryce has a rank 4 Kingpin. I think there's one in Matrix as well. He's incredibly effective. Oh, I didn't know Kenobi had one. That's interesting. Buying in more to into the war side of things. That's very interesting. They've got some room ahead of us on the AQ side, though. Hey, Grinfield. Welcome to the stream. Okay, that's our second bot tonight. This time it's a Russian one. Love it. Okay, I think one more. Probably shouldn't have used a full energy refill. Maybe I end up doing a path of V8 after this. I'm not sure yet, Stover.
It might be Surfer. Because, second.
Because, what's the thing I'm thinking? Reed doesn't have bad prestige, but he also doesn't have great prestige. He's top half, and he's in that chunk of, like, modern champions that are all okay. Yeah, that's the bot Slay. Um, does that mean this is an Enzo raid? Hey, Axe. Hey, Murph. If so, thanks, Enzo. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So Reed's prestige isn't bad, but Surfer's is obviously the best. And so I feel like it would be good for the Alliance and for my place in it to take him up second. Additionally, by then, there's a good chance that our battle group won't have a rank 4 Surfer, and so he might have some utility on defense in a few spots, even without high ground. And then the last thing is that I have a rank 3 Odin that I like using, and Surfer is my single favorite champion to tag in and out with Odin. So, you know.
I wouldn't hate it. And if I would get fun out of it and it would be a legitimately good rank that would help the entire alliance grow, then that's pretty persuasive. Um, Basically, the only chance that it's not Surfer is if I decide in the meantime that Guardian or Tigra is more useful. Oh wait, I still did have one. No, okay, that was the first medium one. Good. Okay.
Hey, J Will, how's it going?
Yeah, that's what I heard, Grinfeld, that the cav amounts were actually pretty good. I shouldn't have done that. It feels it feels unnatural for me to only do medium light and then back off. I tend to do medium light light or medium light 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 when I'm backdrafting, and so sometimes I like, just because I'm not as used to them, I forget to properly turn on Perks Infuriate. That's just something I'm getting used to. Oops, didn't mean to enter with Tigra. Oh well. This will be like 3 heavies. Close enough.
When I was doing the Herc objectives, I kept messing up and getting his strength charges and killing him with the bonus damage. Yep. Already done that at least 3 times. Yeah, exactly, Slay. Like, he's not a terrible defender even without high ground. As I've said a few times, I don't actually think that high ground itself got very many kills. Um, I think it was more that being scared of it caused us to use a few more nukes, and nukes aren't always safe. But I honestly just kind of feel like it's... I think in the higher levels, there were just also some deaths to inputs and bugs this season. It's like, it feels really bad if you die to say, oh, that was because of a bug. But death counts overall in Tier 1 have just been higher than they need to be lately. And I don't think all of it is rust, and I don't think all of it is the tactics. I do think there's a fair amount um, that is just, you know, good players that would have blocked, that would have dexed if they could, getting hosed.
Like, I've had a couple of those. I saw Vega had a couple of those wars. It happens, you know? Wow. It's the first time I've seen Duck Ock do that. That was unpleasant. And there's the strength damage, getting the kill instead again. Basically, Grinfeld, you just do a medium light and then back off. I think it also works with just a medium and back off. I'm not an expert on Herc. But yeah, you do that really short combo and then it happens. And sometimes, even though Infuriate is specifically supposed to make the defender more likely to charge in, it actually has a weird, like, what's that called? What? Sorry, there are enough computer programmers in this chat for sure to help me out. What's it called again? The error when you go to like all the way to the maximum and it loops around to the minimum and you get a massive negative number? Overflow? Yeah, I think overflow is the word I'm looking for. It's been a while. But I feel like that's kind of what happens with the AI. And like Kabam has already messed with it enough that when you throw Infuriate into the mix, it just like glitches, and that's how you get stuff like Doc Ock intercepting me with a heavy there. C'est la vie. You prefer Odin buffs on Surfer over Ghost or Angela? For fun reasons, yes. If my Angela was duped, I think there's an argument that that would be a stronger use in some aspects, but it also just, it really ties Surfer's kit together. Because you have to remember that there are, in addition to making his Furies much better, which in itself is already good, there are a number of callouts in Surfer's kit specifically for if Surfer has 3 buffs active when he throws this special, then he gets an extra buff. That's how he gets his Vigilance on the... What am I doing here? That's how he gets his Vigilance on the Special 1, and that's how he gets his Unblockable on the Special 2. Ha! Got a medium kill. And then also remember that Surfer does direct damage per buff on him. And in many fights, it's actually not worth it to go to the special 3, meaning you're not getting his aptitude. And so when you don't go to the special 3, then all 3 of the Odin pre-fights are unique buffs and therefore allow him to do extra damage. So out of the gate, Surfer normally has 1 buff on him. Odin pre-fights give him 4, which means that you're quadrupling the extra damage he does on every hit. It's just such an absolutely massive boost to his kit. And I definitely like them better on Angela or Surfer than Ghost, although I'm not going to pretend that going all in on Ghost with Ant-Man isn't effective, because it is. Messed up that intercept. I was just slow. Yeah, Robbie, I know what you mean. We definitely had some bad play, lack of focus ones. But there were also definitely a few I saw. Whoops. Stream just cut out, didn't it? Yep, give me 1 second. Okay, it should be right back. But there were also some where the reason that bad play or lack of focus caused the death was because there was also an input thing where somebody was like, I swear I dashed back. I shouldn't have eaten that heavy. Or like, I swear I dexed that special. And then they just stood there. And like, it's usually the input error isn't what immediately caused the death, but it like puts you off balance. And then that's what causes the like lack of focus to truly cause a death. Not always, but I'm just saying enough. Because even if that's like a quarter or a third of an alliance's deaths, like that's definitely having an effect across tier 1. If that makes sense. Overflow error. Okay, good. So I did have the... Yeah, I can auto fight these Grinfeld, but I'm specifically trying to get these objectives. That means I need to win in specific ways. Yeah, it does look like they're sticking to the plan and keeping high ground coming back. I mean, I would say maybe the attack tactic will be better, but we also know what the attack tactic is probably going to be, like coming out of what pool, if I remember correctly, and they're just, that's not going to address high ground either. I actually think that if there had been an attack tactic that focused on a specific pool of underused champions that Kabam actually thought deserved more of a place in the meta, that either slowed down the timer or dramatically increased energy resistance, and that was the attack tactic we got instead, then I think high ground actually could have been remembered as one of the best um, war tactics ever. Because it does change up the game in places, and it does encourage possibly risky plays by you going all in on nukes. It does make Surfer harder to use. It does make Doom slightly more dangerous. Or sorry, not Surfer, it makes Torch harder to use. It makes Doom slightly more dangerous. And so if there was an attack tactic that actually allowed you to work around it, then I think smart alliances would have done so. But instead, we got slow your roll, which, while it is kind of useful on like 3 nodes on the map, otherwise just doesn't, it just doesn't interact with high ground at all. And so that's why I think high ground failed. More than anything, I think it's the lack of a proper attack tactic. Because that's what happened with Siphon. Siphon sucked for a really long time. And then they added the attack tactic that allowed villain attackers to get around it. And all of a sudden it was pretty fair. I feel like it's going to be so hard to actually kill somebody with, wow. With a heavy. Okay, good. That one. Yeah, Surfer gains a lot more from the damage boost out of the gate. I mean, Odin pre-fights on Angela, I think, are very good, but especially if you have a high sig Angela, they're less vital. And I actually think over long form content, like incursions or something, then the synergy with Odin is actually more important than the pre-fights. Yeah, Naz. That's really my biggest complaint. Because attack tactics are what feels like bullshit defender tactics into actually changing up the meta. Because you have to give us answers. Like, you have to do things like, I don't know, something along the lines of when. I mean, they would have to create a new pool, so it's hard to just imagine one right now without just naming a bunch of champions. But I'm thinking, like, if they had made, I don't know, 10 champions at around the level of Doc Ock, who are like good, but not very common attackers. If they had given them a way to interact with fights and gain a huge amount of energy resistance, so that suddenly it made more sense to use Doc Ock over Doom in places, that would have changed things up. And then you would have gone, like a full season of people going, wow, Doc Ock is really great for these matchups, and I just took my Doc Ock to rank 3 and learned how to use him because of the attack tactic. And I actually enjoyed it, and now I know how to use Doc Ock. I think I'm going to use him even when this attack tactic goes away. That's how tactics should change the meta. Like, that's the goal right there. That's what they can be.
and they're not there right now.
Ouch. Alright, now we're parry heavying until the end.
Cool. Okay, and then now we gotta go back and do the first one.
Oops.
This cable has given me fits lately. Sorry, the stream's gonna pop out. Or I say the stream's gonna pop out for a second, but by the time you hear me say that, it should be back for you. So,
Forget I said anything. Still need a couple more heavies, right? Yeah, flow wasn't great either. I think
the protect one was good because that made intercepting valuable. I think they could have done a little bit more with it. Like they could have maybe given a certain group, like the modern theory, with a limited pool of attack tactics.
I think the way that would have worked for Protect would have been like they would have given certain champions counterpunch charges or something along those lines. Like that would have let you directly play into it, and that could have been cool.
But I do think that Siphon was one of the greats after they changed it, because at the time, villains were not a very widely utilized group of champions offensively, and it let you use skill to make villains by far the best option to a lot of fights that otherwise felt ridiculous. And that's what I want to see happen again.
All right. One more darn heavy. Whoops. That's fine. This is all I need to do.
Yeah, using lights for spacing is very helpful, Grinfeld. I think the one thing to watch for there is making sure you're not doing it where you don't need to. There are some... I've seen some Tigra videos where people are like, dashing back 3 times and then throwing 4 lights, and then, oh, the heavy lines up perfectly. On fights where I know for a fact that if you just dash back once and hold the heavy, it will land all 3 hits every time.
So don't be that guy. Like use the lights. It's an important thing to learn because that skill also comes up for other champions. Like sometimes I use it for Reed, but don't get excessive with it. 'Cause it doesn't really add anything. Oh wow, I'm doing way too much damage. Hit me a few times, please. Thank you. All right, come here. Thank you. Yeah, I don't blame you, Murph. I retired once. Oh, and now it's Gwenpool, and I'm not running Assassin. Okay, well then let's just use Tiger and get it over with.
They're not actually people, Nath. I'm allowed to tell them what to do. It's not like they can hear me anyway.
Just willing things into being, you know. Whoops. Ah, and if I let him hit me, then he'll drain my power. Okay, that should work. Nope, that was the strength damage.
Hey, William, how's it going? Just semi-chilling. Yeah, that was kind of what my retirement was. I was saying it somewhat ironically. Because at the time, map 5 was basically what map 6 is now, and I was doing map 5 and like 2 BG. It was probably about that tier. It was fun. I got to use my Captain Marvel movie with my 3-star Nick, clear out some stuff. Would I put an Awakening Gem on Corvus or Hercules? Ooh. Well, I despise recoil and care about prestige, so I would use it on Hercules. Because Hercules works a lot better without recoil than Corvus does, because he doesn't run out of hits. And his prestige is much, much better because he's newer. However, I don't think that it's necessarily wrong to use it on Corvus, because if you do not care about prestige or you have other prestige options, like you have a surfer that you're investing in and you don't see Hercules overtaking him anytime soon, then like a Sig 1 Corvus gets you what you need out of him. So if you're not concerned about the prestige and you don't have a lot of stones to throw around, then you're going to get more mileage out of it with Corvus. And if you run recoil all the time, then you have a serious weapon on your hands. Hopefully that
Helped you make up your mind. There's no way to start with a bar of power or anything, is there? Well, I can at least throw that on. It's not like Guardian is helping me.
Oh god, the stream dropped again. I just heard it. Please come back. Okay. And it's gone again. Please come back. And it's back.
Let's see if that holds. I may just have to switch cables. This one was working so well for so long, and it doesn't require a stupid dongle. Yeah, I guess that's about as good as it gets. Actually, I can go ahead and drop these and just go straight power gain, right? Where's Storm? Cool. All the power gain you could want. Yeah, Corvus in Act 6 is just broken. Oh wow, it didn't kill him. Should have hit him once.
Okay, probably kills the next person.
To be safe, I'll go ahead and, like, I don't know, knock him down once or something. That'll do. Cool. Pretty sure that one counted.
Just contemplating the possibility. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting theoretical question because they occupy similar roles in the cosmic class and they are both very good. And they do both benefit a lot from their awakening.
Whoops, shouldn't have done that. That's fine. Got a free feed out of it. Whoop. Too much power.
Wasn't expecting both to crit. Freaking challenge rating. Yeah, Slate, that's the thing is that like the way in like 90% of the Corvus fights you're ever likely to take, his awakened ability does not matter at all. But he opens up fights that are otherwise annoying.
That, like, no one else can really do if you have it. Like, you needed his awakened ability to cheese the Shang-Chi celebrity challenge with him. Please kill. Nope. Alright, I should have done a hit. Worked against me with Hood.
Hate these kinds of quests so much.
But, like, he opens up that kind of stuff. He opens up the aspect of chaos cheese. I do think that,
It is a very important awakened ability.
even if you're not always going to use it. And it killed him. See? This is what... Okay, no more heavies. Just, like, a light or something. And then we let them hit us.
This is so frustrating. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Bleezy. Yeah, easy. I don't think there's any reason to rush that kind of choice. Alright, hit me.
I'm gonna wait for this taunt to wear off, because if I throw it now, I just guarantee it's not gonna kill him. And it still doesn't, because he's a boss, even though, like, 2 lights almost... Ugh. Slay at least has been an Omega Red main.
They're big fans of their recoil. Okay. Surely, first fight of the map, a heavy won't kill.
Now hit me. Okay, maybe I throw, like, 1 light? Yeah, that felt good. Alright, let's do this.
Hey Ethan, welcome to the stream. I actually have a number of mixed thoughts on the new CaviQ nodes. I think there's a lot of really good things about them.
And I like the direction that they're headed in, because I think that the boosting pools that aren't just, like, classes where, oh, Doom and Warlock and, you know, Nick are going to be the best every month, are all really good moves.
The problem is that I think some of them just didn't get all the way there.
Like, I've already communicated to Kabam that I think the stun should have been longer on the symbiote one. Hold on. The stun should have been longer on the symbiote one, because at the moment it triggers off you dexing backwards and then isn't long enough for you to properly punish when you come back in, which just completely invalidates it some of the times. And then I think they should have been a little bit more careful, or a little bit kinder, mainly, in designing Quest 3.1, because that's the one where you need to re-parry with mercenaries to inflict that passive bleed. But like, they just littered that quest with champions with double mediums or those that are intrinsically coded to use their heavies more. So they come in, you parry them, they're not stunned because they're stun immune for the first medium, and then they throw their heavy. And then you do that 5 times in a row, and you go, why am I using a mercenary? I should just be using Claire or Nick or Apocalypse or like anyone else. Like, why am I trying to play within the design space of this when you made antagonistic choices for which champions to put on the nodes? That's that one I think is the most egregious. I'm sorry, I bumped the cord. Here we go. But that one I think is the most egregious example. I actually like quite a few of them. I do think some of the pools need to be slightly larger. Like that Inhumans one is painfully thin. Like, I have some good rank 5s, but I had no rank 3s, and I didn't have a lot of rank 5s. Alright, come here. Yeah, we appreciate the sacrifice of recoil users and switching. There are ways to minimize it, for sure. Um, However, I still hope, for their sake and for all of ours, that those mastery swaps are coming soon. Okay, do not hit rocket again. That's what one medium did. I'm just gonna sit here and get hit for a minute. Yeah, Jason, I know you don't have to use the champions. That's kind of my point, where it's like, why am I using a mercenary for this if there's no benefit for doing so? Because I think that the whole point of throwing those nodes in is to encourage you to play with the champions in that pool with those tags because they're underutilized or underappreciated, right? It's supposed to make you use parts of your roster that you wouldn't reach for first. But that means that like whatever thing they ask you to do should actually be doable. And like, I'm not saying that the nodes were like really hard or anything like that. Like, I did the whole thing 100% exploration, itemless. But my roster is above average, and I like to think that my skills are a bit above average, and I also am a little bit more patient than average because I think that I continued to use the tagged champions after the point at which a lot of other people would have switched. And to me, that still says that there's room for improvement in the design. Like I said, there's still a lot of things I like about it, and I actually, my overall impression of it is positive because I was getting bored to tears with the class ones, and so I do still see it as an improvement. It's just an improvement with additional room for improvement, you know? Yeah, William, I think those are the two that I was talking about.
And I agree, Murph. Apocalypse is just such a beast. One of my absolute favorite champions. Yeah, I like the cross fights, and I like that it lets you, whoops, that's fine. I like that it lets you ramp multiple champions. It's not like a pickup. I was actually really worried about that. Come on, Otto. Hey, Nagato, how's it going, man? Does Cable benefit from the rank 3? There isn't a big damage difference on the heavy? Yeah, I mean, there's what Slay said. Um, if you having 15% more attack, and 15% more attack that actually scales with boosts, because, like, I've heard some people say that, like, oh, well, a rank 3 versus a rank 2 is never worth it because you can just use boosts. But that's very clearly not true because you can also boost a rank 3. And then it's scaling off of that improved base attack, and you have a completely different animal now. Um, but if that 15% extra attack is the difference between you winning a fight before things start to go wrong and not, then it matters. If the extra health allows you to take all that block damage and bait heavies or however else you're getting those degens in, then it matters. For certain matchups, extra power rate can matter because his special 2 is somewhat underrated and is actually a big part of why he's good for certain spots. Um, the crit rate and crit damage don't really matter. I'm not going to argue that one. But block proficiency goes to the same place as health. And then there's also the big thing that rank 3 is easy enough for most of us, unlike rank 4, that I think you can actually take into account challenger rating. Because if you are using a rank 2 cable and you mess up and you eat a combo from a rank 3 defender, then because of challenger rating, that defender has inflated crit rate and crit damage relative to you, in addition to having extra attack and you having less defense, or and you having less health. Which means that, like, you are more than 15% more likely to die to that combo than you would be if you were rank 3. Because of that, I do think that it's worth ranking champions like Cable. Now, would I take Cable to rank 4 on all of that same logic? Absolutely not. But once we get to the point where we have a bunch of rank 4s, then we can come back and have the same conversation. That's fine. Okay. Just want to hit him a couple times. Make sure this kills him. Ouch. Nope. All of that. Oh well. Next. Yeah, I understand, Bleezy. But that's why I think that the pools should be wider. Because if your roster is small, then, like, maybe you're not going to have Kamala Khan at rank 5. But maybe you do have somebody else who is still outside of the meta, but you ranked them because they were your best option at that point. And then if they satisfy the nodes, then that's still good. Okay, that'll do. That would have been kind of interesting, Mad Hats, because I do think that that's one thing that they didn't fully account for is the fact that with the old nodes, everybody was ramping up in that first fight that you use them for, and on this one, they only ever get better in the second fight. And so that is kind of an effective nerf across the board, especially if the pools of champions you're pulling from are also smaller. So that would have been kind of interesting, but I think as long as they handle the rest of the stuff, I don't really mind the way the cross charges work right now. Okay, now we can autoplay. And I'll just catch up on chat. 3.1 is frustrating. I'm not gonna disagree with you at all on that, Ethan. That was the last one I finished, in part because my best mercenary was stuck in map 8, but it definitely was the most frustrating. Yeah, I figured that was probably true, Grinfeld, but I had already hit go before I remembered to check if it was the special 3, so that's okay. After Prestige is settled, Omega and Corvus. Yeah. I think that's probably smart. Well, and Killmonger finishes most fights with plenty of time left, because if it's actually a long fight, then you probably just throw the L3 and then you laugh as they bleed out. And he finishes with plenty of health because he's tanky. But still, for those kinds of utility fights, literally everything about the rank increase would help him. So once I have my prestige sorted, Killmonger is going up. Don't worry, Bleezy. I have nothing invested in these. I just expect it going in. These kinds of win with a blah blah blah, but then we're gonna make you do it with a champion that has a ton of other incidental damage is just, they're predictably frustrating every time it happens. So challenger rating is basically just attached to your rarity. I think 100 was set as a... Hold on, let me... So yeah, 100, I believe, is set as a 4-star rank 5? Yes. So a maxed out 4-star has challenger rating 100. And then the equivalent 5-star, a 5-star rank 3, also has challenger rating 100. And it goes up by 10 for everything else. So a 5-star rank 4 has 110, which is the same as a 6-star rank 1, because that's roughly equivalent to a 5-star rank 4. And then from there, whenever two champions of the same challenger rating face each other, basically they're just run through the diminishing return, all of their stats are run through the diminishing returns formula without really worrying any further about it. But when one champion has a higher challenger rating than the other, then those secondary stats, like crit rate, crit damage, maybe armor, I'm not sure on that one, block proficiency, those 3 at least. I'm less sure on some of the others. But all of those are amplified for the champion with the higher challenger rating and reduced for the champion with the lower challenger rating. This is why if you are doing like the Karina's challenges with your 4-star Star-Lord, and you go into Labyrinth of Legends, which was not designed for 4 stars, and which has higher challenger ratings, if you mess up once and get crit, or and get hit, you're probably, like, that's why we laugh and go, oh, of course every single hit crit. The reason every hit crit is because of challenger rating. And RNG, but especially challenger rating. It's also why if you are doing something like auto-fighting Act 3 with a 6-star, then because all of your opponents have a very low challenge rating, they will almost never crit your attackers. That kind of thing. So it works both ways. Hope that was enough. How little special 3 damage do you think he does? I wasn't taking any chances, Nagato. Not after all that other crap. APOC or a House of X. Yeah. And that's exactly my point. If the design of something leads most people to conclude that the best way to get through it is to not counter it, but to go around it, then that is often a problem. Not always. Sometimes people are just lazy, but often. That was, the big problem with the Venom Pool boss. It was an easy fight if you just brought Apocalypse, House of it, or if you just bought Apocalypse and Mr. Fantastic and used the pre-fights to reverse all the healing. One of the easiest fights I've ever done. But that wasn't what it was designed to do. It was supposed to be a variant for mercenaries. And so that was a design failure. Hey, wish you luck. I I do have some thoughts on that. It is... First off, I just need to say it is not true. I am not a merc. I have never been a merc. I don't like merking. It goes against a whole bunch of things, I believe. I personally prefer to play my own account. I prefer other people play their own accounts, and I also do not have time to merc for the most part. I have other things I would rather do. But the other thing is that if you want specific reasons why that call out, it makes me laugh. That poster that is supposed to be proof is, for one thing, misspelled, and I tend to be more careful than that, my promotional materials. It says Daddy Longlegs. It doesn't say Daddy Longlegs 93, which has always been my in-game name. It's my line ID. It's my channel name on YouTube. I don't think I would have made that mistake. It advertises content that people haven't merked for in a very, very long time. And then it's supposed to say, oh, well then, it's just an old poster, so this is proof that he used to do it. But it's an advertisement with Mr. Fantastic, who I did not care about before last, March, April. I think that's when I finally pulled and duped him and started working with him. Anyone who knew me back then would have used Hyperion or Magic or, one of the champions I actually used back then if they were trying to fake something of me merking. So it's not true and it's lazily faked, and I'm not accusing the person who's calling me out of creating the fake. I hope he didn't. But I do think that he should have done a bit more due diligence, because he actually did reach out to me in July saying that somebody had told him that I was a merc, and we talked very briefly because that was actually my birthday. And I said, hey man, it's my birthday. Do you mind if we don't do this right now? And he said he would get back to me and follow up. And I never heard from him again until that poster was published. So clearly did not care enough to actually reach out again and do any research. Not really impressed by the process. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I hope that's enough of that. And then, as Nas said, like I just said, I'm famously a somewhat patient player. I wouldn't come to me for speed in fights either. So Mad Hat says, would Challenger rating have a similar effect on evade percentage? See, that I don't know. I don't think so, but I suppose it's possible. I'm going to go ahead and use this energy because maybe we will do some Variant 8 today. It does seem possible because I know what you mean. I value the crit resistance reduction stats so highly. Yeah, exactly. And that's why Killmonger would be so tanky as a rank 4, because when you take him to rank 4, if he's facing a rank 3, then now on top of his base crit resistance and armor, the opponent's going to crit less and 4 less. Super fun. Welcome. I'm going to go with Killirum. Sorry if that's not how you intend it to be pronounced. Let me know and I can fix that. If my voice sounds familiar, it might be because I am sometimes on call for Vegas streams. So if you watch any of his stuff, that might be why. Yes, that's funny. Doesn't care about Mr. Yeah, I saw here last Grinfeld. I'm not gonna call anybody names on this, but he is wrong on this. I understand that like in that line of work that he's trying to go for, it is easy to err on the side of being overzealous. That is definitely what he's doing here. Whoops, jostled the cord again. When I come back, I think I'm gonna switch chords. 'Cause there is one more difficulty, right? Okay, I'm gonna hit go on this. I'm going to go ahead and hit autoplay, and I will be right back because I have been talking enough this stream that I need some water. So I'll catch y'all in a second. Okay, I'm back. Did this for auto fight, but I know that this is not the most entertaining content. So as soon as this quest finishes, I'll finish this up later so that I can open these calves with the what you call it, with the season rewards. That'll be a nice big crystal opening, and I'll go work on like Variant 8 so you guys can see some of that. Yeah, staying hydrated is huge. I was in marching band in high school. Used to walk around with those gallon coolers full of a little bit of ice and a lot of bit of water. I love Psylocke, man. Kind of sad she didn't line up for any of the tags this month. Did she? Actually, I'm gonna go check that. I'm gonna be really sad if she did and I missed it. But I've used Horseman Psylocke in previous months for the mutant events. I'm not gonna argue that she's the best mutant or anything, but she's a ton of fun and she certainly can be effective. Yeah, I don't see her in any of the pools. Okay, I would have been sad to have missed that.
Okay, so a little bit left on that, and then I'll have some more calves to open. Because, yeah, what are we at now? 30,000? Okay, so yeah, close to that 8 that people mentioned. See, those are getting opened. I'll have another 3 6 stars. I'm excited. Okay, that's just a cube.
Yeah, I do think there's a good chance that she gets buffed. The thing that makes me most nervous about her buffs is that she does now have some solid synergies, but I still don't think that she would be broken if they improved her a bit. I also want to know, why is Psylocke, as far as I know, the only character in the entire game who has a negative perfect block chance? That's something that I noticed just looking around Aunt May once. She has a negative 50% perfect block chance. Super weird. Like, it's her block proficiency is low, but not terrible. But like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she has that. Hopefully, whenever they do get around to fixing her, they fix that. Okay, what did I have left on this one? Oh, okay, so Power Steel on... Okay, so don't shock them. That seems easy enough, just don't get that pre-fight. Which is this one, so go to the other side. That's fine. Okay, read for the synergy, Sakura, Venom Pool. Whoops. Um, let's see. Doesn't really need any of this. I'll take the crit rating, and then we'll throw in Luke. Okay. I don't have a lot of Psylocke content, no, no Bleezy. It's something that I've wanted to fix at some point, but it's a little bit tricky to show her off because there is some content where she works out really well, but there are a few things that kind of get around the way that you would normally use her, and in basically every spot where she looks really good, some other mutant looks that much better. Which is kind of why I'm one of the only people with her ranked up. But I do think she's a lot of fun, and I think she's somewhat competitive, so I do want to get around to making some videos with her for sure. Especially now that I have a 5-star Spider-Man 2099. That synergy is super important for her, and I think I can make some cool stuff with that. And then the Bishop synergy is another one that really goes a long way. Yeah, I don't think... I would probably rank a 6-star Bishop if I had him. He's not my favorite offensive kit, but between his synergy for Venom Pool and his synergy for Psylocke, I would probably enjoy having him at a usable level. Decent amount of water in beer. I don't dislike beer. Um... Yeah, I think I like the additional debuffs one. Ooh, Archangel versus Omega is a hard fight, and I think Apocalypse needs to throw his hat in the ring as well. Mutants are just so good, I don't really feel like picking a winner, personally. Yeah, Mojo has negative physical resistance, Maw has negative physical resistance. That's why you see those two champions make for really good Overseer showcase videos, because the direct damage he does is physical, so he takes extra. Plus he has that physical vulnerability, so you get a pretty nice multiplier going. I do this every time. Whatever, free willpower. I always forget what his special is and then just instinctively dodge it when he starts moving. Hey, J-Mania, how's it going?
I do enjoy Kitty, William, but I've barely used her, so I feel like I can't really say yes yet. But she's interesting, and she goes really well with, of course, Tigra, who is one of my favorite champions in the game. And Ghost, who I will probably rank up because she's Ghost, and she goes with so many other champions I have.
Decent amount of champs ranked up, so this would be a useful but also fun rank up. Who would be best to go to rank 3, Diablo or Claire, including the recoil masteries?
Given those, I think I lean Diablo, because while Claire is one of my favorite champions in the game and is incredibly useful, if you are not switching out of her blood mode into Plague or Hellfire, then you lose a fair amount of her utility. And while you can just switch back in to it for certain things, a lot of fights where you really are leaning on Claire's utility, like you can't switch into blood to heal if you're using Claire against Mephisto or something. You just can't. You will die. You can't use her against like Eye-Bomb or Man-Thing the same way. And you can't use her as a power control option if you're constantly switching out of Plague. So, whereas Diablo just strictly gets better. Every part of his kit is better with recoil. Except, I guess, if you're fighting, like, passive heal block nodes or something. No, then it still doesn't matter because he's not taking any damage. So, enhanced poison nodes would probably hurt him with recoil. But in every other case, he'd be fine. Or better. And he has really solid utility. His pre-fights are very good, so I think I would lean Diablo for you. Nice, Murph. Bishop seems fun. I haven't seen a ton of gameplay with him, but I know that Strands is a fan. Oh, it's this guy again. This is gonna be really annoying. I think, yeah, the extra Massacre is the one with the poison, so that'll help with the healing. This will be fine. Oh, the reason the last one was annoying was because I had to use Venom Pool because I needed the pre-fight because that was the lane with Havoc. Okay, this will be fine. It's not great, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I agree, Ethan. He's so much fun. Best mutant is Hercules. In some content, you're not wrong, funnily enough. Sorry, I just saw the stream go back or go down for a minute. So what I was saying was that if you're gonna say Omega needs synergies, then I think it's a little bit odd to say that Archangel doesn't, because in war, we pretty much always assign Archangel alongside House of X or as a horseman for increased ability accuracy. And while the horseman pre-fight is not technically a synergy, it does mean you have to bring someone else. Or somebody else in your battle group has to bring somebody else. And so I would count it similarly. Bleezy, I would say sewer slides. Yeah, basically what Slay said. Like, if you're trying to use Omega as a primary war attacker, then the recoil tree, specifically Double Edge, is really big for him. However, if you don't need to just nuke the fight at the beginning, then you don't really need, then you're not losing that much if you don't have it. Because as Slay often says in a lot of his videos, the spores from the Death Field, which are your primary source of damage, aren't boosted by them. So the important part there, sorry, focusing on this Juggernaut. The important part is often his Sig level. So while if you're using him in Tier 1 War, you want both recoil and, what's the thing? You want both recoil and high Sig. If I had to choose one, I would choose high Sig every time. I don't know why I did that.
Man, this Juggernaut was probably really rude for some people, huh?
Okay. Now we have it somewhat set up.
Oh, I don't mean the pre-fights from House of X Murph. I mean specifically the synergy, because it gives him 10% extra ability accuracy because he's a metal champion, which is basically like a third of the way to what you get from the Horseman. If High Ground wasn't a thing, I'd be taking most of the Spite matchups with Omega Red instead of Archangel. Yeah, I hear you. I think Archangel with House of X and or as a Horseman is still significantly better for Domino, but I otherwise hear you. Like, yeah, Omega has no problem with either of those matchups.
This should be fine. I was just about to say, shouldn't he be going poison immune about now? That's if RNG is in your favor. I've seen Archangel die an awful lot because a few heavies were not enough. That's something you have to be careful of. Whoops. Oh well.
Yeah, Max Limber can mess with him in places.
And if you have the pre-fight, you're often, like if you have House of X on the team, then you're often going to use those pre-fights to make sure that things are going well. But my point is just that I actually think that having him on the team for the synergy is, whoops, often more important than the pre-fight.
Yeah, your Nova fight, Slay, was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like, just the synergy giving you 10%. You had plenty good RNG through, like, the two scariest fights on the map. and then we gave you the Horseman alongside it. And you got like 2 bleeds and 3 heavies or something. That was just such a textbook case of like, hey, sometimes Archangel doesn't work that well. Sorry for laughing at your pain, but that was one of the funniest fights I've ever seen.
Okay, now we're gonna corner spam for a bit.
Yeah, I'm really glad you didn't die. You definitely did a few things that not everybody would have that kept you alive. You earned that one. I mean, Archangel has always been good. I don't disagree with you at all there, Q. He was an important champion before Apocalypse came out. And he was an important champion before House of X got reworked for that synergy. But to call him the best mutant, I think you are starting to rely on those boosts to ability accuracy. I think on his own, completely in a vacuum, he's just a little too random. It's kind of like there are synergies you can run with Domino such that she doesn't really have to worry about the randomness of her crits, and she like almost always gets crit bleeds and always gets those massive incinerates on her heavies. And that makes her look like one of the best DPS champions in the entire game. But you wouldn't give her that title because it's the synergies that are getting you those results. And if somebody shows you a video of Domino on her own getting a disgustingly large crit bleed, then you're just going to go, okay, yeah, but it's not reliable, right? And if that argument works on her, then I think it does work on Archangel to an extent. He's insane, but there are limitations.
Forgot he stopped, or started unblockable. I knew there was something about this note I was gonna forget, and I should have just read it. I did remember Conflictor. Please throw your special. I don't want to accidentally poison you and then send you red. Okay, there we go. Oops. Okay, we'll charge it back up the old way. There we go.
Oh, I'm into Variant 8 meta.
No, the side quest isn't bad at all. The main reason that I stopped doing that was because the few paths left were just going to be auto fight, and that seemed too boring for streaming. I'll get it done later. Whoops. Always forget it's too close for that. Okay, throw. And if we can get a heavy in, we'll just... Yeah, Archangel can do all of those fights. Unless he gets bad RNG. Have you seen any of the videos of people using Archangel and Gauntlet against Mojo? Because, ooh, that was a horror story in his limitations if I've ever seen one. I was so glad that I hadn't brought Archangel for him when I started seeing the way it was going for some other people. And I completely agree with you, Mad Hat. This is kind of why I said at the beginning that I don't really like crowning a winner for the mutant class, because it's, for in general, but especially for the mutant class, because it's so strong. I just think that it's important to acknowledge Archangel's limitations, because we spend so much time in Tier 1 war planning around those limitations to make sure people don't die. Hey, Tafre. Speaking of speaking of Archangel, I was actually just about to say, and that's not because our primary Archangel player doesn't know what he's doing. I trust Tafre with most fights in this game. He's probably better at it than I am. But you still want to make sure that you're stacking the deck for Archangel so that things don't go sideways. Some of the videos I saw were absolutely playing around Mojo's abilities and they just died anyway. I get what you're saying. Like, I really do not want to come out of this with the idea that Archangel is not a good character, because he's one of the best characters. I just flinch a little at giving him the title of Best Mutant. What limitations? You're not helping, Tafre. We're trying to have a nuanced discussion here. Okay, Mighty Charge with a bunch of people who should be pretty easy to play around with Mighty Charge. Sounds good. Naz, I trust him if he remembers to use an invulnerability boost. Yeah, Hard Knock Life is another good one meta that messes with Archangel. Just speaking of nodes. Yeah, and I don't think your opinion is a bad one. I want to be very clear on that. Like, it's not like you came in here and started arguing with a straight face that Jubilee is the best mutant in the game. Sorry to all of you Jubilee fans out there. I think if you're going to have a discussion over who the best mutant is, and you don't at least bring up Archangel, Apocalypse, Omega Red, then you're probably doing it wrong. I think lately, Kitty with her synergies does deserve at least mention. And there is, of course, Magneto, who, as much as I hate him, the reason I hate him is because he's so broken, so he can't suck, right? I wouldn't call him best, but you have to mention it. Crickets. I think there are some Jubilee fans. They're just, yeah, you know, both of them, so to speak. APOC has my vote for best mutant as well, Tafre, but there's just so much going on in that class. They're so good. Absolutely, Tafre. Spider 2099 is definitely better for that fight. I would do it with Reed if I had to, but I wouldn't want to. See? Dodge it out of instinct every time. Yeah, Magneto has a way of doing that, Murph. Like, I don't enjoy using him, but, I mean, Lord, if he wasn't one of the best possible options for all of Abyss for me, he was so helpful. Right, Mags higher than APOC. That's totally okay, man. And I did it again, right at the end. That's what I get for looking up and reading chat during Special 3 animations. You know who's good for Hard Knock Life? The mutant that gains disorient immunity. You're not wrong, Meta. You're not wrong. Yeah, Professor X is nuts. I don't think I would ever give him the title of best mutant, just because, like, he doesn't have that much utility. Like, he's very, very good. And he has so much damage that in the hands of a good player, it starts to work as utility. But hold on. Okay, just wanted to do that. But at the same time, I think the reason that you always have to say in the hands of a skilled player is because he has so few guardrails, so to speak, relative to a lot of the other mutants. Like, he's amazing, he's so much fun to play, you can get incredible results out of him. But, like, the reason you need to be so good is that he won't win the fight for you. For all that I've said against what Q's saying today, like, the argument for Archangel and Magneto as the best mutant is that when the fight goes well, when it's a good matchup, both of them do kind of feel like they're just winning the fight for you. I have never felt that way with Professor X. Are you off the domino train now, Meta, or are you trolling? I understand that comparison, Meta. For, like, for cheese uses, yes, that's definitely true. Hold on, why am I not bothering to heavy? I almost threw my special 3 before I remembered that this is not a symbioid or a Deadpooloid, and that Wolverine actually has a special 3, and maybe we shouldn't eat it. Alright, throw your special, bud. Thank you. I just want to see what this bleed is. I know he's going to purify it immediately, but it should be beautiful. Woo! I was right. I'll take an 8k per tick bleed. He wasn't even ramped. Used Magneto against a metal champ once and dropped my phone for 3 minutes. He wanted to fight him for me. Autoplay wasn't on. That's funny. Whoops. Okay, forgot he could do that on heavies as well. I was like, don't throw an unblockable. You don't want him to fracture his shield. Oops. Alright, thank you, healing node.
Alright, come on. Yeah. I was gonna say, shrug off those incinerates. I've got some healing to do. You're not allowed to die yet. There's fodder for your roast video right there, Naz. Good lord. Perfect. He said, who even uses Misakari? Me. Is there a long list after me? Not necessarily, but there are a few. Ethan mentioned he really likes Misakari earlier this same stream. Thank you. Thanks, Blazy. We're counting the skill champions that are better than Craven. Poor guy. Made him sub to me. Thanks, Toffrey. Got good Misakari content for you right here. Yeah, I agree, Ethan. Like, it was super annoying getting champions to play into Obstinate Charge, but whenever they did, like, Misakari was amazing for it. If you actually play into it, and then as soon as you got a bar of power safely, those long bleeds off of his special one worked super well. Yeah, he was amazing. Alright, he starts unblockable. See, wasn't that hard to remember. Oops. Time to change chords. Do that after this fight. Whoops.
was just thinking about how it's kind of annoying that sometimes, even though the reach on the first part of his heavy is absolutely amazing, it's frustrating that the second hit still whiffs sometimes. Okay, backing off, waiting for him to block. Thank you. Because it only has the block penetration if he's ignited. It always gets the attack, but you also want the block penetration. Yeah, that sounds correct, Tafre. Masakre is probably the best option for us muggles. Do I even have any 2017 champs to rank? Hold on, I'm just going to do a quick filter. Don't worry, I did add in the 2015, 2016 ones. Do I have any 5 stars I care about? Oh, well that actually... Okay, I'll use one of them on Wolverine. Do I have any others that I care about? I don't think I pulled Witch yet. Maybe her. Maybe Labtron if I haven't done that yet. But yeah, it's pretty much just going to be the unique ones, I think. Okay. Horseman Wolverine is immortal. Pretty much. I think Kitty is strong, decently high skill cap, way more than Ghost. I mostly agree with you. I don't know that she needs the power back boosts. And I do think that when you have both Ghost and Tigra on the team, her skill cap drops. It's probably still higher than Ghost's, but it does drop a bit. She is very, very good, though. Yeah, I love Storm X meta, you know that. Old Penny immediately went to rank 3. Congrats, Dot. And welcome to the stream. How hard is Deadpalooza? Well, if you have a rank 3 Massacre and Venom pool and a maxed out 5-star Luke Cage, then not very. But I don't know, it really kind of depends on what mercs you have. If you don't have Luke, I've seen Nebula be really good in places. Some people are using the Domino Trinity with great success. I think that's what Work did for an awful lot of it. Etc. But I do think that you definitely want to do a first run through it, because all of the 5-star resources are actually tied to exploration. Every single thing you get that can go towards 6 stars is on the first pass. So do the first pass, because your roster can definitely handle it. And actually, oh my god, I'm talking to Meta. Dude, you are going to be so happy with your gold pool, because did you see the healing that Massacre had on that Red Guardian fight? Gold pool gets that too. They all get OG Deadpool's healing. He's going to be borderline unkillable. Oh, do they not work on Labtron? You're probably right, Toffrey, but that would be annoying. Joe fix it. Yeah, I get you, Devil Dog, but I've got a rank 2 6-star Joe. I'm not going to invest in the 5-star. Yeah, you're going to have a really good time, Meta. Definitely do the first run. Get yourself some 6-star shards. William, a number of us have done Abyss, but I actually, as much fun as I'm having streaming, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and call the stream here, because I want to get some work done on actual videos to come out. So I'm going to go do some of that and, do other non-Marvel related things for today as well. But thanks everyone so much for hanging out. This was a blast. I look forward to the other weeks of the side quest, because if nothing else, I mean, so far they've just been great places to practice champions. Maybe I'll use Kitty next week.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. All right. Thanks again, everybody. Take care.